Friday's my last shift. 38 years to the day.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do without you, Stanley.
Well, what do you know about this replacement of yours?
Except his name's Javon.
Javon. What kind of name is that?
Hello, Richard.
Who am I talking to?
Well, this is Laura at Regal.
Okay, you're Laura. At my age, I should never ask. I should never say a name before I know who I'm talking to.
In different ways, you guys are really both trying to do right by your family. You're really trying to get yourselves together for your family's sake, but you're both stalled in life for very different reasons. What are those different reasons for each of your characters?
I think in Stanley's, I just think ignorance, he doesn't, there's so much about life he does not know, was never exposed to. He just kind of went along his whole life without questioning anything, without looking at himself. But I think that comes from how he was brought up, and his view of the world is so small, and he actually thinks he's doing quite well. Now, even if he says that, you have to think that deep down he knows that he's never accomplished much, but at the same time, there's something kind of noble about him taking such care and pride in the job that he does. But even though he's being totally taken advantage of.
I think my character feels like he's just been beat down kind of by the system a little bit. Like the odds are stacked against him. So it's almost a sense of like, I'm doing the best that I can, but it's not like it's getting me anywhere kind of approach to it. I think it's a combination of that attitude, but then also I think like he learns to take a little bit more of an initiative and responsibility.
He's a really bright kid. I think the movie is his journey, that you see him grow up during the film.
My life was a whole lot easier before I met you.
I worked my butt off, and you just float through life.
You honestly think that this whole freeloading universe is out to get you? You're stuck in here, same as me.
Watching you guys talk about race and having such different generational perspectives, different racial backgrounds that you guys brought to that conversation as characters, what do you think, especially in a time where we're really racially polarized, politically polarized, what do you hope people get from Stanley and Javon in that conversation, in that moment in the film, where they're really trying to share their own perspectives and their own experiences about race in that moment?
These guys, Stanley's got more in common with Javon than he has any idea about. He just doesn't understand it. He says there's no such thing as white privilege. White privilege doesn't mean that you don't work hard in all your life, and you've maybe had tough breaks in life, but one of the obstacles wasn't the color of your skin. That's something Stanley had to overcome. I think he likes Javon, and I think he wishes it had gone a different way, but he doesn't understand it. He doesn't have exposure to any other communities. He never had friends of a different race or come from another country even. He's never probably been outside of this town. I think it's really fascinating the way Andrew put these two guys together and the path they take.
I just kind of like that you just see that Stanley is a product of his environment, is a product of, even in his relationship with his friend, what they talk about, how they, it's kind of interwoven into who Stanley is. And I think the hope is that you see that these characters are like, as Richard was saying, they are more similar than they are different. And if we're showing the movie to somebody who kind of thinks along the lines of Stanley, maybe you can leave them, walking out of the theater reflecting on that of like, just thinking, planting those seeds of, maybe taking the first step towards seeing things a little different.
You got any fast food experience? Has he eaten it?
I just don't think he's a good fit here.
Javon, it's your responsibility and it's your job to train him.
In the movie, Javon is described as an outdoor cat. What does that mean, and do you think it's true of him?
I think she just meant that I was a guy who kind of was a floater, kind of never really found a home or a purpose.
Why is Stanley so loyal to Oscar's? Like, what keeps him there for 38 years?
you know, Stanley makes the best out of what he's got. You know, he's as they say, he looks on the bright side. It's what he knows, and he's good at it.
There's an art to the third shift. You gotta do a little bit of everything. Improvise. A big part of working here is teamwork.
Teamwork? What are we, Crockett and Tubbs? That's game, baby.
Your hamburger making skills in this movie were A+. Can you disclose what is in a Stanwich?
Listen very carefully. I have no idea. How's that?
In that sandwich, you had like a chicken patty. There was tomatoes, barbecue sauce. There might have been some avocados in there. I was like, you know what? I think it would be a great idea to take a big hearty bite out of this sucker. Now the thing about making movies is you have to do it again and again and again and have different takes. So by the end of the day, we had gone through a lot of sandwiches.
What are the rules of hamburger pucket hockey?
He made it up, so I don't know.
You never cross the line. You don't cross the line. If you cross the line, it doesn't count.
If you play for more than 10 minutes, you probably shouldn't cook those patties.
Yeah.
I love this movie, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to chat. It was such a pleasure.
Oh, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.